But I think that if you use like actual noise or something like that from an actual VHS tape and just layer it over the video, it looks a lot better. You don't care because like this is not something. This is not something that people really care about. Anyway, so go on. I'm
like that with Chris Chan. Anyways,
no, I care a lot about Chris Chan. Okay.
People of Earth, yes! Dread it. Run from it. This stupid show arrives all the same.
Okay.
It's Manchild Roundtable.
Okay.
Yeah! Infernity Gauntlet, I am the Reverend Paul Casino. We got
this guy.
Yeah! You feel that energy? You feel that? Woo!
We are two bundles of big dick dragon energy.
And today we're going to channel that big dick dragon energy into talking about next year in Magic the Gathering.
Fuck 2020.
Recently on the Mothership website, they hosted the Zendikar Rising preview show, which is every year around this time, they announce the next 4 new sets for Magic the Gathering. Last year, if you remember, Mark Rosewater baked gingerbread set icons because the announcement show came during Throne of Eldraine. This year, it is Zendikar Rising. With each new set that they announce, we are going to detail it. We're going to talk about possible returning mechanics, what to look forward to. Yeah, so Zendikar Rising, just all the previews are finished. We all know exactly what we're gonna be getting. Jacob, first impressions, go.
I don't care about it. Like, I honestly, I think Party is dumb.
You bought a box!
I bought a box. You know what? And I'm actually gonna cancel that order. I'm gonna cancel that order.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're gonna have supply problems, and I just don't want to be...
I heard that.
I don't want to be involved.
Dude, Perp said it best, man. Like, it's cardboard. This should not be hard. Topps has been doing this since the 1970s.
Yeah, but we've never had a fucking pandemic like this before, man. So
no. You know this is going on. This is printing on cardboard. The pandemic don't enter into it. It's a big machine. You put the computer files in, and then the machine does its thing, and then it spits out cardboard. I'm sure that it's more complicated than that, but is it really?
Yes.
How so?
I don't know industrial printing very well, but I know that it's more complicated than push a button equals cards. So, yeah, it's more complicated than that. There's people that have to fucking run the facility. It doesn't run on a fucking AI. Well, I don't know what the hell people are thinking about that. That doesn't make any damn sense. I'm pretty sure that this has a lot to do with mismanagement on many different levels, and it's a lot more complicated than
push a button. Yeah, which I granted is probably the fact. Anyways, so let's talk about what's going on with Zendikar Rising. Jacob hates it, predictably.
No, and it's not like a whole like, oh, this is a new set, I automatically hate it. No, there's nothing really good in it. Like, everything I look at, it's like, oh, this is boring. And those stupid modal lands, I'm looking at it from a commander perspective, and I hear all these people like fucking jerking off about it online, and it's just like, oh, it's a really bad spell on one side, and it's a basic land on the other, but it's not a basic land, so you can't fetch it. I don't like it. It's gimmicky. And yeah, I mean, people are like, oh, well, it helps speed up the game and it helps take care of a dead card in your hand. There are other ways to do it.
You just live to shit on everybody's everything.
I do.
This is because you go on Reddit. This is your problem. In general, I just stay away from things like Reddit because that is just a cesspool of negativity, and everybody wants to have the initial hot take.
Dude, I don't know what you're talking about, man. With negativity on Reddit, it's like to me, it's like detrimental positivity, like all the time. Like everything WotC does on fucking r/MTG, it's always like fucking, oh my god, WotC did this. They love us so much, and it's like, I never hear anything negative because they bury it right away, or they just delete it because the mods there are like fucking fascists, you know.
I don't have a problem with the modal DFCs, which By the way, real quick, stands for modal double-faced cards. We're going to be calling it that because that's what WotC is calling it. Modal DFC, to me, sounds like a rave band.
Yeah, it sounds like they'd be opening up for Diesel Boy back in like 2000.
I also think modal DFC sounds like if you're someone you know has been exposed to modal DFCs, you could be entitled to a large cash settlement. Talk to that Viking lady on the bus?
Modal DFCs may cause death, dismemberment, and right-wing political views.
Do not allow modal DFCs to come in contact with your skin. If swallowed, could be harmful.
Do not poke modal DFCs.
Oh, now we're going Happy Fun Ball.
Yeah. Do not agitate Happy Fun Ball.
Do not taunt Happy Fun Ball. If Happy Fun Ball begins to smoke, seek shelter. Cover head immediately.
Modal DFC also sounds like an automotive part.
I got this baby souped up with 13 modal DFCs. How many modal DFCs you get under the hood out of this bad boy?
Going back to what I was saying earlier about, like, you know, the modal DFC stuff, it seems like that's going to be a thing.
Strixhaven and Kaldheim are going to have the modal DFCs as well. So, knowing what we know, where can we logically go? Well, we here at Manchild Roundtable have done our due diligence. We have, ready the numbers? Yep, came back good, and these are our ironclad 5-star guaranteed picks for things that will happen in Magic the Gathering over the course of the next game year, which inexplicably ends in August.
The Rosewaterian calendar.
The Rosewaterian calendar, yeah. It starts in September. It's spelled T-H-E-T.
September.
All right. So one of the things that we do use, that we have looked at for this is the Storm Scale, which is something that Mark Rosewater, who way busts his balls a lot, but he tends to be pretty open when it comes to the design process and very candid with the fans about what works and what doesn't, and sometimes he sugarcoats it, but he does admit when he makes mistakes.
I actually really enjoy listening to his podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because he goes like really in deep into the nuts and bolts and shows you, it talks about like the minutia of game design, and it actually is very interesting. And one of the things that he talks about and he shares with fans is called the Storm Scale. Storm was a mechanic that was in, I want to say, Tempest?
No. It would have made sense, but Storm first appeared in Scourge.
It was a broken mechanic that basically every time you cast a spell and then you cast something with Storm, Storm would give you X for every time you cast a spell that turn, and it was exploitable. But the Storm Scale was invented. It's called that because Storm is a mechanic they're never going to do again. It's way too exploitable and way too powerful, and that used to be the top. And then when he would talk about mechanics that had the possibility of returning, he would assign them a number on the Storm Scale. The lower the number, the more plausible it was to return. Things like, flying, or, and Hybrid Mana is a 1, Indestructible, Mill, Scry, 1/1 counters. These are all 1s on the Storm Scale. -1/-1 counters are 2, things like coin flipping, colored artifacts, equipment, things that aren't in every set, but they definitely are going to be using again. Those are lower numbers. So we looked at the Storm Scale, we saw what hasn't shown up for a good long while, but it is probably due and likely to actually happen. So, with that in mind, let's start talking about the first set that's going to be coming out in Q1 2021. We have Kaldheim, which is the Vikings set, which we have seen before on a Plains Chase card. Those rectangular ones that were really, really cool. You like Plains Chase, right? I remember you saying that in the past.
Plains Chase is pretty damn cool. I really like the concept, and it's pretty flexible. You can play Commander Plains Chase. You can do a lot with it. It's fun. It
just adds another level of strategy and things to think about. Plains Chase was cool, and one of the cards there was called Skybreen, and that was the first appearance officially of Kaldheim. And now we're getting an entire set that is Viking themed, which I think could be very, very cool. I like Viking stuff. It's cool. I like You know, with the whole the boats and yeah. Jacob, what's your take on the Viking theme?
I'm not into it. You know, I'm like, okay, so kind of have the same opinion on Vikings as I do as I did with the Amonkhet theme. The whole Egyptian theme kind of
It
seems
doesn't
lazy.
speak to you. You're not a fan. I'm like that, honestly, with Innistrad, where I'm just like, the Gothic horror, it just don't turn my gears.
Yeah, it just kind of seems a little lazy. I just think that, well, wasn't Ice Age Viking themed enough for you?
That was
I
also
don't
20
know.
years ago.
It was also 20 years ago, but it did, I mean, they finished the block with Cold Snap.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have that. Wasn't as Viking-y. But yeah, I get it. Okay. So people wanted a Viking theme set, and Vikings are pretty popular. I mean, God of War had the big Viking thing go on with it. I mean, that was a good game. I'm gonna just say Dad of Boy was really fucking good. The Viking theme was done really well in that, and I think that they could do like a Viking theme pretty well with Magic too. But I just hope that they do. Is it gonna feel like Amonkhet?
I mean, if it's got a real world pantheon, not proxy, like a real world pantheon.
Oh yeah, proxy works.
Yeah, proxy. I mean that like they can draw inspiration off that. I don't know. I actually think it might be kind of ballsy if they don't go with a god theme and they just say like, nah, let's just not do that at all.
I think people would revolt.
But we already have gods, and so in standard, and that's in Theros, so they would have to be distinctly different.
Yeah,
or almost the same. In which case, that would be lazy.
The gods in Theros were enchantment. And I think that that's specific to the plane of Theros.
Because the gods in Theros, one of the things I did like about that was that they were not mortal, but finite. And if they didn't have people believe in them, they would die. So there was threat there, and they had motivation that was based. It's tough to write a good story with gods because they're gods.
They're OP on the base.
They're OP by definition.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, I guess it works if you're looking at mythologies, but writing a
Neil Gaiman did it with Sandman. It worked, but that's American God. Really, if you're not Neil Gaiman, don't.
I mean, besides the obvious, they're going to put gods in. I mean, I forget who else. Someone else was speculating that they're going to do vehicles like Viking ships and stuff like that.
I could see that. I would love to see the return of vehicles. I love vehicles.
Yeah, vehicles. I don't see what everybody has a fucking problem with them about. It's like, okay, yeah, in Kaladesh they got a little out of hand.
They're brand new. We're figuring it out.
Smuggler's Copter.
It's fine. It's over.
It was a problem. It was great. It was awesome. I love it.
Yeah. If you had a playset of them, it was fantastic.
Oh, it was awesome, man. But I mean, it didn't last very long. I think that there's good things that could come out of Kaldheim and bad things that could come out of Kaldheim, and I think it's going to be mostly just mediocre things. I hope that they bring Snowlands back. I think that that's a really cool.
Oh,
thing.
You'd have to.
Although from what I've heard, they are very hesitant to play with mana anymore, like after the whole introduction of the lozenge for the colorless symbol. I think that they're going
lozenge. To I never heard it called that, but yeah,
that's its technical name. It's a lozenge. So
oh really?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought just because it looked like a cough drop.
That's what that symbol is. Yeah, I mean, I remember people were calling it a wingding, and it's like, you know what? That sounds like a penis.
Everything sounds like a penis to you.
Yeah, everything does. Well, I mean, why wouldn't it? But there's a lot to draw from. There's a lot of cool like stuff they could do with it, like sagas. I mean, the return of sagas.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see, like on one of the double face cards, one of the modal DFCs, would be like a legendary creature on one side and a saga on the other, where you can play the creature, or you can play like the legend of the creature.
I think it would work better if it was a saga that turned into a creature. You had
that's its like last step or like the last chapter, then it flips and turns into a creature. Sure.
Yeah, and it's a creature you have a hard time dealing with, so you got to get rid of the enchantment right away.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's no shortage of enchantment removal in this standard environment. So I honestly would like to see a Ratatosker, because Ratatosker is a squirrel that lived on the world tree, right? And Ratatosker is a troublemaker.
Loner, a rebel, Dottie.
No, he was a troublemaker. He liked to cause problems between people.
Okay, so what else is going to be possibly in in Kaldheim. I'm thinking we might see the return of an equipment-themed set. We're due.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That too. Like equipment, like, you can't have a quote unquote Thor without Thor's hammer.
Mjolnir.
Right? Yeah.
So that's Kaldheim. Now, let's, next up, which is going to be, and this is also a very interesting set that they're kind of going with right now. Time Spiral Remastered, which is going to be in the first quarter of 2021. They smooshed Time Spiral Future Sight and Planar Chaos into one big thing, and they are kind of like they did with Amonkhet Remastered, where they took Hour of Devastation and Amonkhet, and then they just turned into one set that's draftable. That's what they're doing with Time Spiral Future Sight and Planar Chaos.
With one distinction. This is paper only.
Yes, that is the big thing. It is paper only. We are also going to be getting ye old card frames from back before the big redesign, which I guess was 2010.
It feels right, man.
Yeah.
Feels so right to see what is it, Chalice of the Void in like an old frame. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. These kind of look like Magic cards. So but this is paper only, and no Magic online. No Arena, no MTG Online support, which, and the thing I find about this interesting is that I feel like Wizards is banking that a lot of those sanctions are going to be lifted, and we're going to be getting back to kind of semblances of normal by whenever, maybe the end of the first quarter next year. I do not see that happening. I wouldn't be surprised if this ended up getting pushed back and pushed back.
I'm surprised that they haven't rearranged the schedule, actually, because, we're not even supposed to really see a vaccine until early next year, and that's a big if,
And that's a big if.
Although, I will say, I am very kind of happy to see this, because I think it's a cool idea. I don't know how it's going to really affect the Rudy market, so...
I doubt it all.
Well, no, I mean, how people are going to respond to, newer cards like Chalice of the Void, being treated with the old card treatment. Another thing to remark on, and this is something I heard from Saffron Olive, I think, was that the foils are actually going to have the old shooting star logo on them. Which I think is
badass.
Awesome. And you know what would be really cool is if they actually made the foils look like the old foils, where it actually looked good. That'd be nice. No curling, maybe some good cardboard, maybe. But that's not going to happen.
All right, now he's just not going to happen. Wishing for the stars and the moon and the sun, too.
Well, we're getting the shooting star, so maybe...
I like that. That's great.
Yeah.
So cool. Nice and old school.
When I was a kid, and wonder, why did they do that? What's
I don't know.
But whatever. It's nice to have something...
Cool to have, bit of nostalgia, kind of what Time Spiral is all about. I'm not terribly familiar with it. That was during one of my off periods, Time Spiral, and that whole thing came out. I'm told it's fun. I've seen the cards before with the wacky, crazy, go nuts frames that look like they're the future frames and stuff. Every once in a while, that'll show up in a commander deck, and my friends will be like, "What the fuck is that?" But yeah, they're fun.
I don't know. I like the future sight frames. I hope they bring them back. I hope that they're in there. Future Sight had a lot of shit that, what was the one really popular card from Future Sight that was not printed until Amonkhet? Oh shit. Aven Mind Sensor. Amonkhet. Yeah, it was Amonkhet, right? Not the other one. Okay. Yeah, so I think that was cool. Also we had Steam Flogger Boss. We didn't get that back until Unstable. So, but then again, people can say that that's not a real card, so because it's not in a real set. So I'd like to see if they're actually going to sneak in a couple of future cards, for future sets that are upcoming still.
I mean, I like the idea of them too, using those quote unquote future mechanics, but they're just stuff that they couldn't get to work for a series of cards. It works real cool for these one or two.
Yeah, well, the whole cowards thing. The whole coward not block. That was a mechanic that appeared in Future Sight, and we didn't see that until just now. So, that's neat.
Yeah.
I think
it was a future one, and that was cowards can't block warriors. That's the whole thing. Although it seems to me that the cards that have been printed with Coward on it and got reprinted in Modern Horizons here too. Certain cards like, okay, Pyrophobia deals 3 damage to target creature. Cowards can't block this turn. Yeah, and cowards are just anything that's labeled as that. Can't block warriors. The one that's in Zendikar Rising that refers to cowards is the Kargan Intimidator. You, cowards can't block warriors. Tap 1 mana, choose 1 that hasn't been chosen this turn, so you can't do 2 in a row, or 2 of the same kind. The Kargan Intimidator would get +1/+1 until end of turn. Target creature becomes a coward until end of turn. Target warrior gains trample until end of turn. So Kargan Intimidator is a card that turns other cards into cowards for 1 mana. And then, like, that guy can't block, that guy can't block, that guy still can. And then you can...
I like that. I like it. I think it's cool.
That's a good mechanic.
So
I don't know how it would work over a series of, like, 15, 20 cards, but in this one case, it's very cool.
I'm just surprised that they didn't do more with it, honestly. But, you know, I mean, like, hopefully we'll see some cool stuff in Time Spiral. I mean, I don't understand why they just wouldn't make, like, Time Spiral 2, you know? Because, I mean, but initially, I think, and I'm not sure if you touch on this later, but, like, I think Modern Horizons was supposed to be Time Spiral 2. And
yes, it was.
Yeah.
That was,
but
yeah.
They didn't really, they abandoned that idea, I guess.
I think it was abandoned partially on the way through, and then Mark Rosewater, just because of the set's complexity, often referred to it as like a spiritual successor to Time Spiral.
They should have just gone whole hog with it.
Whole hog,
sure
yeah.
Everybody
for one reason or another,
it.
which I'm not aware of, that they chose not to.
Well, it's just like with Double Masters. Everybody was freaking out about how Double Masters was built from the bones of Artifact Masters, which you can totally see it. I don't understand.
It was Graveyard Masters.
No, it was built from. It was built
from Artifact. I do know
Ultimate Masters. Ultimate Masters was Graveyard Masters, I think,
because it has that skull in the symbol. I think that was the original plan, because there's supposed to be like 2 skulls like looking at each other right there. That's what that symbol is.
It looks a lot like the Graveborn set symbol. Graveborn was like, it was like a I think it was like a specialty deck that they made.
Okay, yeah, a little skull there.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that. Yeah, so I see what you mean. So moving on.
Strixhaven. That is going to be in the second quarter of 2021. That is going to be Harry Potter themed.
Great. Unlike other people in our age group, I do not give a flying fuck about Harry Potter. I really hate the idea. I really do. Like, I hate it more than I hate Kaldheim. And
did you read the books?
No, I didn't read the books. I don't give a fuck about the books. I saw the movies. Who gives a fuck? You know, they were entertaining.
It's not garbage.
I don't care
really
about the books. I don't care about the books. Did you read the book though?
Okay, all right. I'm sorry I brought it up. Fuck. Calm down, Jacob.
No.
We're renaming this show.
Calm down, Jacob.
Starring Paul.
What's Jacob got his panties in a bunch about next? Joke's on you. I'm not wearing fucking panties. Not right now, at least.
Listen, these things all depend on the execution. It's not directly Harry Potter. It's just, it is a wizard college, and they are having a competition. So you are going to, and that could be the genesis of the idea, you're going to get comparisons to Harry Potter no matter what happens. Again, depending on how they go about doing this, I could see this being something that's very, very cool. Now, I guess one of my questions here is that since this is going to be a set on a college of wizards, is there going to continue to be a lot of support for the party mechanic? Because this really does feel like something that they're going to be kind of digging in with, because the next one up is going to be the Forgotten Realms Dungeons and Dragons, and you can't see that not having a heavy party mechanic theme. So we'll get to that in a little bit here.
Well, we're also saying that since it's going to be divided up into 5 different colleges, it's or five different schools, it's probably going to be single color schools. We're not probably going to see a lot of overlap, although, you know, they could do wedges, they could do shards, you know, but I mean, they just did that kind of thing. So, you know, I don't know what, well, without Ravnica, I could see them doing like, you know, dual color kind of thing.
Yeah, but that's a bit Ravnica's thing, and really, I don't think they'll ever do anything dual color that's not Ravnica. They're not going to, like, assign a different identity to, like, black and green. I think it's already kind of stuck Golgari, you know what I mean? Like, that's Decay, that's, you know, this kind of... They've already nailed each one of those so well that I don't think that they could really extricate... assign new meanings to that. No. Now, with the wedges and the shards, I mean, they're not as set in stone.
No, and you can do things like those... Well, I mean, you kind of, like... If you relegate it to one plane only being able to use like 3 colors of magic or whatever, you know, then you have Alara will always have the shards, Tarkir will always have the wedges, you know, but then you have like Ikoria, which had wedges, right?
It did, but they focused on them a little bit differently. Like
it was different, yeah. So they have to put a different spin on it.
Right. Like the Mardu wedge in Ikoria was like, well, it's mostly about white with little bit... It's generally white, but it's plains, but it's still got like a little bit of swamp and a little bit of mountain and a little bit of evil and a little bit of chaos. And that was like, that's where all the big cats were on Ikoria, was like that one. So you can see that. All right, yeah. It's all in how it's done.
I mean, they could do a nice little parallel with like it being shard based. That'd be cool. I mean, I could definitely see like an Esper based school, you know? Yep.
Give me that Grixis, baby. That's my jam. So Mark Rosewater has mentioned that Strixhaven is a school. It's not a plane, so it might be located somewhere that we've seen before, possibly. My guesses were possibly Fiora from Conspiracy. I could see them being kind of an intrigue fueled, you know, wizard school there. Also, Vryn, where Jace is from, with the big mage rings. That's kind of all we know about that place.
Yeah, but I mean, it's already been established with Vryn that it's not like rival schools kind of thing. You know, there's
the part of it that we've seen, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought about a Street Fighter based set. That would be cool.
That would be cool. Dhalsim would be Boros. I could see that.
Yeah. And Bison's definitely like Rakdos.
Yeah, he's definitely Rakdos. Guile is definitely Azorius.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, Guile is
Guile's Jeskai.
Yeah, Jeskai, right. Red, white, and blue. Yeah. What will we see in Strixhaven? I'm thinking maybe a Kaladesh type theme with artifacts and improvise. That was a competition for inventions. Maybe this is a blue themed competition. Maybe you might have something like that. This could be an artifact themed set. I could see that happening.
So I don't really see that happening because, yeah, I mean, of course you're going to have wands and shit because it's wizard.
Yeah, broomsticks.
Yeah, of course you're going to have that, but I don't really think that artifacts are going to be that.
I'd almost think that you would stay away from that. That sounds like if you're trying to not really, like, you know, make it terribly blatantly obvious you're just doing Harry Potter, stay the hell away from broomsticks and all that
stuff. No, I mean, I think it's fucking obvious that they're doing Harry Potter. And I guarantee you that we're going to be getting a Harry Potter fucking secret lair or something like that.
Which is an excellent time to talk about how stupid the Walking Dead secret lair drop is. And how fucking disappointing. By the way, way to be timely. The fucking show just got canceled. Do you know what they're doing with corsets?
Yeah, the Dungeons and Dragons thing.
Damn it, I want to be the one that told you. Yes! We're doing corsets. Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, at this point, okay, so wait. At this point, we have to make it known that it is not official that they are doing away with corsets completely. It is just this year. This year, one is not on the docket. It could be that they're going to reveal it later, but it could also be that they're going to skip a year. But because I think that one of the things we were talking about last time with corsets is they're hard to like really like get people invested
in it and hard to have it not feel like a pile of reprints. Like, what kind of theme do we have running through it? The past 2 or 3 corsets, we've had decent themes of just a single planeswalker and kind of telling their story through the cards on that corset. I thought that was a perfectly rational way of going about doing it, a decent way of solving the problems, how to make it feel more connected. I think that the last 2 corsets did that job reasonably well, and they were reasonably well received. I looked for the sales numbers to see how they were, if they were selling poorly in comparison to others. I can't find that information, but I'm also number stupid.
Well, I don't know about that information either because I haven't looked, but also I think that it would be nice to see them just take a breather on a corset in between a corset, and that way they're not reprinting the same fucking cards in standard all the time. You know, how many fucking copies of Rabid Bite do we have right now?
Oh, a ton.
You know, I mean, like, so do
I
we
mean,
do
I
we really
agree,
need
but like
another do we really need another Chandra Planeswalker? Do we really need another Teferi
but
Planeswalker?
then kind
Do
of
we really
what
need
you
another
no.
Jace Planeswalker? No.
But when they
So
did take a break from the core sets after Origins, what was their main motivation for returning? That I'm actually like, I don't know the answer to that.
one of the things that I know from experience in playing and then in that environment was without that inroad, it was very hard to introduce people to the game with set specific mechanics with things like devoid and process. You know, I think that there's a real like value in having like an inroad for new players because like what was it process? It was called processor, where you had like Eldrazi that took a card from your graveyard and put it into exile or took it out of exile or whatever the fuck it was. No one ever used it. It never did anything. But you know, it was like, and that's not true. It did something, but you know, like
Never went anywhere, didn't catch on.
yeah, it never really went anywhere outside of like draft. I think one of the things that I remember people doing was getting confused at these hard to manage like mechanics that these are complicated and convoluted ideas for new players to really latch onto when they're still trying to figure out, you know, the stack and things like that. Like this is not a simple game. That's the problem with like new players, and getting more people involved means you have to have a simpler, leveler playing field with things like a core set.
Oh yeah, so we're talking about the Forgotten Realms set.
Yeah.
2021, which is gonna be coming out in third quarter. I don't like it, but that is, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm not the world's biggest Forgotten Realms fan. I understand why they're using it because that's like the default for D&D now. It used to be Greyhawk. Used to be the default, like intro type thing, and then they moved it. Now it's Forgotten Realms, which is their most popular. It seems very generic to me. I'm not a huge fan. So, I mean, I'm not as psyched about it, but if you would have told me that it was like Dark Sun or Dragonlance or Planescape or any of the other ones, I would have been like, oh, hell yeah, Dark Sun, I want to see cannibal halflings and, you know, giant dwarfs that are like 9 feet tall. Yeah, I mean, Dark Sun's awesome. So I would have been much more enthused if it wasn't Forgotten Realms. That said, I could, you know, I mean, give or take it, it's better than a sharp stick in the eye, and it might be kind of neat to see, you know, some Magic the Gathering artists take on D&D characters that they wouldn't normally draw. I'd love to see people like Therese Nailson and Noah Bradley work on, I'd love to see Melissa Benson do some stuff.
You know, whatever happened to Margaret Oren Keene?
Yeah, I don't see much of her. Richard Keene Ferguson?
Richard Keene Ferguson.
Yeah, you don't see him much.
Joseph Miracola, all these classic ones. They moved on.
I can't remember, either Ron Spencer or Christopher Rush passed away. I know that.
Christopher Rush.
It was Christopher Rush.
Ron Spencer's still around. I mean,
isn't that Therese Nielsen's brother, half brother, something?
I don't.
I think they're related. I'm almost sure of that.
I don't know. I don't know about. All I know is that she's a fucking Nazi. So I'm not crying that she's out of work right now.
People will hire her.
People will hire her, but that doesn't mean we have to fucking give them our money either. So, but then again, I don't buy.
We talked about this at one point.
Yeah, well, we didn't actually air that show. That show is...
No, that's true. I don't have a problem with Therese Neal's artwork just because it didn't shove any of her crazy QAnon right-wing maniac bullshit nonsense. That was never in any of the art. There were never any like hidden meanings, designs. It was very, very separate. And listen, there have been plenty of artists, classical musicians who have been slave owners and stuff. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad, bad, bad. But I can look at her art and I can just say like, that is very nice. Yeah, she's crazy. She's fucking nuts.
Death of the artist.
Paints a nice picture, and if that's the death of the artist, to a point, yes.
So yeah, I mean, like, well, going back to Strixhaven, you know, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of, you know,
pushback from the J.K. Rowling thing.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I think that's warranted because there's a lot of there's a lot of trans individuals in the Magic community, and they deserve to not feel like they're shut out of a game because of.
And what did she actually say?
I'm not even going to get into that. I'm not going to recount everything that she's fucking said. That's fucking bullshit. So anyway, we're on to Dungeons and Dragons, but it's also nice for them to maybe take a break and refresh the idea every once in a while. So we don't need a core set every single year reprinting the same goddamn shit.
You mean like a bi-yearly thing, maybe?
Like maybe a bi-yearly thing, maybe like do something different, like, oh, we have a Dungeons and Dragons set this year. Okay, cool.
And then go back to core sets next year.
Yeah, and then we have a core set next year, and just go from there. I mean, there's plenty of other properties that if WotC wanted to, they could, kind of just take from, and
right, because I mean they got Hasbro's thing, and that's just it. This was inevitable. Hasbro lures that synergy. Why shouldn't they?
They lure the money is what they lure.
Yeah.
And they know that they're dumbass fucking man children like us that'll go out and buy every fucking copy of an Autobot fucking Autobot versus Decepticons Magic deck.
I hope they don't do that.
It's gonna happen, dude. It's gonna happen.
I know, probably, but that's like no, because this is fantasy, and now you're going to the sci-fi. No, stop it. Party mechanics, which are definitely going to play into a Dungeons and Dragons theme set. That's right up that particular alley. I can totally see that happening, which again makes me think that you're gonna have to find in that Strixhaven where you're gonna find room for rogues, maybe warriors, clerics.
I don't think we'll see that
because you're gonna have to have some kind of support for that mechanic, because this comes after Strixhaven, so you kind of have to have that theme run through it.
Of course it's gonna have mages. I mean, I think
of course
we'll definitely see rogues. I mean, but
I'm very interested to see how they work warriors into it, though. That could be neat.
Well, that's the thing, is we don't see a lot of like warrior mage kind of like crossover in this game. So I think it would be interesting if there's battling mages in Strixhaven, we might see something like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah. That would be cool, actually.
Concept of a battle mage
like a multi-class, like a dual class, yeah.
I mean, we do get a lot of like, there are, what is it, cross, they don't call it cross, but it's like type and subtype.
Right, so, yeah, and the warrior, cleric, rogue, wizard thing, they're normally subtype.
Yeah, so
normally the type is the race.
Yeah, because there's type and then subtype, which race and then subtype from there. So you see like crab warrior or whatever. Like if you're like, let's bring it back to the Homerids, so you have that, but you don't really have too many that are crab warrior mage. You do,
and I think that this would be a good place to start doing that. And when you for the purposes of the party mechanic, it would just be like, okay, it can be one or the other, but when you play it, you gotta say what it is.
Well, the party mechanic, I think, would be really. I mean, of course, it's going to feed into the D&D thing. I think that's it's going to feed off of Zendikar, and it's going to make Zendikar Rising more of a player in standard late in the game there. But let's just hope that they add more of like a D&D flexibility with it. And another thing about D&D, I can't wait to get a gelatinous cube card. I just cannot wait.
Yeah.
A beholder. I want a beholder card. Can we get some beholder cards?
What else could show up in the D&D core set? The long-awaited return of Auntie. Maybe.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
No.
Dude. No. I think it would be fun, but again, it's also Wizards is really, really, really trying hard not to get any of that
gambling stank on them.
Yeah, get any of that gambling stank on them. So I mean, it's I doubt that will happen. You can play Annie up and down with your friends, man. You got to play Annie with your friends that you know that you're larger than, so you can beat them up and take the cards back later.
Yeah, really.
There's no real plans for any modal shit going on.
There's no plans for any modal DFCs in the Dungeons and Dragons theme set that's going to be out in third quarter.
Well, also we didn't see any indication that there was any of that in Strixhaven either, so that applies.
Yeah.
So moving on to Modern Horizons 2.
Modern Horizons 2.
Time Spiral 3.
Time Spiral 3. Electric gotta pee. This is an interesting case because Mark Rosewater originally designed Modern Horizons as like a Time Spiral 2 type set because of its complexity. So we should probably be expecting a really deep experience for seasoned drafters, maybe with clues to what themes are going to be in Modern Horizons 2, might come a little bit earlier in the year in that time spiral set. See what they focus heavily on, what they cut, what they kept. You might be able to make some judgments based on that. One of the things that I have heard people complain a little bit about or express some trepidation concerning is that Commander Legends is inevitably going to be putting some of these cards that would be in Modern Horizons 2, they're going to give them the reprints that they need in Commander Legends. So that, it's going to be interesting to me at least to see what they choose for Commander Legends and what they choose to hold off until Modern Horizons 2.
Yeah, I think they're probably overextending themselves. I mean, there are a lot of
That's
cards.
not a crazy thought to think, yeah.
No, I mean, I think that there's a lot of things that do need reprints. It's going to be really easy for them to start over reprinting things here. And it
And
depends
I think you're
on
right there.
Okay, so I watched an episode from Pleasant Kenobi today where he was bitching about the list, about how saying that Wizards has a lot of reprint equity and they're not using it with the list. I agree with him to an extent. I don't like everything that's on the list, right? But I think that they probably did that so that they don't completely, like I said, blow their load all over, reprinting things for Zendikar set boosters or whatever.
Yeah, I saw that the list was, the entire contents of it were released.
Yeah, it's like, if you're going to put shitty cards in it, just, cut those cards. Don't, why does it have to be 300 fucking cards? It doesn't have to be. I guess 300 just sounds like more value.
Collect all the cards in the list.
Yeah, exactly. So they can get people hyped about the 300 card list. Oh my God, the 300 card list. It's got 300 cards on it. That's a big number. 300, it's more than 200. Come on, guys. So what do you think about that whole, reprint equity kind of?
I'm actually on the same page as you. I think that they are going a bit too far. It really feels like they are dumping a huge amount of reprints in a very short period of time. There are things that need to be reprinted. That's fine, but between Commander Legends, Modern Horizons 2, and the list, you're pushing it.
I think that there's a way to do it. Like, if you're going to, okay, so instead of giving us the list and giving us 300 cards, 250 of them are garbage. Just reprint 50 cards that are really highly valued and, keep it at the same drop rate, but then you'd have people going, well, I'll never get this food chain. It's like, but that's not the point. It's not a fucking box of cereal prize. That's, oh man, it's a complicated thing, and I am rambling now, but
what are we going to have in here? I don't know. I mean, the first Modern Horizons had about 40 plus non-evergreen mechanics, new stuff just kind of showing up. And so you're likely going to get more of the same. There's going to be a lot of varied strategies. You're probably going to get slivers in Modern Horizons 2. Maybe Future Sight lands. Fetch lands, you mentioned that. My predictions, because I'm not the world's biggest Modern player, so my predictions are that there will be expensive VIP packs with tricked out cards along with booster packs that cost like $15-20 a piece, and some of the art will be kick ass, but most of it will just be, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, we're definitely going to see new stuff. I mean, they
Sure.
gave us a Hogak in the last one. I mean, Renin 6, which was, I want to know more about that character. So yeah, I just would like to see what new stuff they'll come up with. Like, what new game-breaking, horrible monstrosities are they going to unleash upon us with Modern Horizons? But it's good because no one plays Modern anymore. So just fucking kick it while it's down, I guess.
No, but try to put inject some more life into it.
Kick some life into it.
And maybe fix the problem that nobody plays Modern anymore. It's a hell of a format. It's tough to get into. That's why Pioneer exists. It's because Modern has kind of gotten to the point where getting into it is financially not as feasible. It's almost the reason why Modern was created in the first place, is because the legacy formats were not financially feasible, to get into and be competitive. And then, Modern's now kind of bloated, and that's just with time. time, so they do Pioneer, and then probably in about 10 or 15 years they'll do another one. I don't know what it'll be called. Masking tape. Innistrad! We're going back at the end of 2021. This is going to be in Q4. This is going to be around this time next year. What'll be happening at this time next year is that the pandemic will have killed us all, and that Donald Trump will still be fighting for control of the White House. The election will not be settled yet, and Eldraine and Theros and Ikoria and Core 2021 will have rotated out.
Those are the important things.
Right. Jetpacks, too. Predictions for Innistrad, Vampires, and Werewolves. I can't believe that they're doing this, but apparently it's going to be 2 full-size sets, which means that WotC is going to be dumping like 400-plus cards into standards at once.
Did they say that they're going to be dropping these at the same time too? I'm not clear on that one.
As I understand it, the way they were talking is that they're going to be very, very close together, if not at the same time. Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, it makes sense. You know,
yeah.
You can't just vampires versus werewolves, but there's only vampires right now. It's
yeah.
Like,
you gotta wait till first quarter next year to get into the werewolves.
Oh, we gotta wait. We gotta wait. They're napping.
Well, you know, they're not werewolves. It's not a full moon. You gotta wait a month. All right, so what possible returning mechanics might we see in Innistrad, Vampires and Werewolves? Boy, we're talking way far into the future now. Maybe investigate. People seem to like the clues. I like drawing cards. Everybody likes drawing cards. Best words in Magic are draw a card.
Maybe we'll finally get a werewolf commander.
Yep. Oh, that would be fun, yeah.
We already have one. There's like several, but none of them are any good.
Any good. Maybe get a viable werewolf commander.
You know, I did like Arlen Cord though. Arlen Cord.
That was her name. I couldn't think of it.
I really felt like they done that Planeswalker dirty because she was basically shit.
Sometimes when they come out shit, it's just kind of like, oh, would you rather it be broken? Like, okay.
Well, I mean, there's no fucking middle ground though. Like, there's no like, it's either fucking terribly broken or just like useless.
Yeah, I actually have a friend coming over on Sunday. We're going to play a few games with the new Jace. Just proxy that out, just do that and just see how that works and see how that feels. And I'll try to have something to say about that next week and just kind of like, all right, like, because I'm terrible at judging cards at first blush. I'm really not good at it. I actually have to get it in my hand, play a game with it. Okay, I can do this. Oh, okay. You know, I'm not real great at like just, you know, looking at it and being like, okay, that's good for this, this, and this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that comes with experience, I guess.
Sure. Right. All right, so something you had mentioned last night about the Innistrad werewolves and vampires was that you think about it being a parallel to Mirrodin Besieged and New Phyrexia. Were those two sets, those were 2 full-size sets that were released simultaneously? Is that how that worked?
No, they weren't released simultaneously. They weren't full sets, but they were 2 factions that were released. Like, you could choose Mirren or Phyrexian, I think was the dichotomy. So you could choose one of the other and use that as like your play style. So I'm surprised that no one's really brought that up, that they've done this before. It's just on a much smaller scale. These are 2 separate sets. I think that's an interesting parallel, and I like to see how it goes. Is there going to be like a faction benefit? I mean, I'm supposing that there's going to be a benefit to playing mostly vampires and mostly werewolves. But what I really want to see is some way to transform a human into a werewolf.
Oh, that'd be neat. Yeah, give them lycanthropy.
Yeah, like, you know, or make them, or give them vampirism, you know, as opposed to just having a human.
Maybe there's like a token that you put on it that says, okay, when this token's on a creature, it is a werewolf and it does this. When this token's on a creature, it is a vampire and it does that. And that way you can, you know, it can be modal and you can have, you know, both.
Yeah. And I think
that'd be a really neat idea. Yeah.
I think that would be pretty cool to see like what they could do with this set, but they are actually planning a Twilight secret lair for this.
Are they?
Yes, they are.
Again, fine, whatever. But that's what we think is going to be going on next year for Magic the Gathering in 2021. Are we right? Are we wrong? Put comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. Do all that fun stuff. Everybody's doing it. Everybody. Thank you for staring at us.
Yeah, or listening to us in the background of doing whatever you're doing. That's what I do.
Yeah, really.
That's what I do.
That's how my podcasts go too. Thank you very much. Have a great night.